Working the graveyard shift was never my idea of a dream job, especially when it's in a literal graveyard. But things just happen, I guess. Life takes turns, plans change, the wife you love cheats on you with your best friend. You know, the casual stuff. Well, maybe not that last one. That wasn't so casual. Regardless of my personal life, the job's good money, so who am I to complain? I'm a grave digger. Whenever someone dies, a grave needs to be dug. It's the way of the world. It's how things are. Someone has to do it, and that someone is me. The job is a breeze. Normally I work during the day, but sometimes shit has to be done as soon as possible, so from time to time I go during the night. The jobs are typically easy. I dig up a grave for a body to be buried, and I leave. Nothing scary besides the occasional weird noise. Nothing that would make me pack my shit and run away as fast as possible. Tonight's been weird though. I'm at some new location I've never been, somewhere in eastern Utah. My boss contacted me and let me know that I needed to get over there as fast as I could. The people want to have it done by morning. Apparently, an old native man passed away and the family wants his burial done as soon as possible. Now, I doubt I need to know that info, but my boss seems frantic about getting this done. Not sure if it's a religious thing, none of my business in all honesty. I'm unfamiliar with people's traditions, so I don't bother to pry any further than I have to. Just seems rushed. I usually pay no mind to things like that, but I have a small issue tonight. The problem is, when I pulled up to the location, there was no cemetery. Nothing. Just a path leading back towards some old ground that looked like it hadn't been maintained in years. The feeling of the land was cold. It felt ominous. Like the stereotypical feeling I assume you'd think I'd always have while working this job. The trees were monstrous and looked like giant arms reaching out to grab you. Something wasn't right. Something was definitely off, but since it was good money and my wife got half of everything in our divorce, I needed the fucking cash, and I wasn't about to run off because of the heebie-jeebies at some new location. Believe it or not, I actually have a pair of balls on me. I don't get scared easily. After parking, I unloaded my truck, started walking down the beaten path, and found the marked portion of land. That's where I had to dig. It was weird though. The soil felt soft. It was cold to the touch, as if someone had already been digging here. Although the feeling was weird, I just rushed into digging, hoping I could get in and out as fast as humanly possible. I didn't want to stay in this unfamiliar place any longer than I had to. After about 6 hours of digging, my shovel hit something hard, but not your normal hard. It didn't clink like the sound a shovel makes when you hit a rock. This hit something different. I turned my flashlight towards the ground and started wiping dirt off of whatever this was. After a while, I finally managed to pull it out of the ground. Once I realized what I was holding, I just about jumped out of the damn grave. It was an entire human skull, almost perfectly kept together. It scared the ever-living shit out of me. After looking at it in my hand for a second, another white glare caught my eye on the ground. It was another bone buried right next to where the skull had been. "Fucking hell!" I yelled. "There's a damn body down here." A fucking body. Of all things. I've seen some shit in this profession, but I've never actually dug up a body. I wasn't some sort of grave robber. As I went to put the skull back, I got a closer look at the other bone. That's when I knew something was wrong. It wasn't just a typical bone to go with a body. It was a fucking skull. Another one. 2 human skulls, right next to each other in the same grave. Why the fuck didn't John tell me about this? This is a fucking burial ground. I frantically put the skull back where it was, quickly threw some dirt over it, and went through my shit to get my phone. I had to call John and let him know what the hell was going on here. But before I could hit the call button, I noticed something. A dirty golden coin right by the dirt where I dug up the skull. I grabbed it and examined. "Holy fuck," I said to myself. "This has got to be worth a damn fortune. This thing is probably solid gold. Holy shit." I went back to the spot and dug more. I ended up finding 10 more coins identical to the one I just picked up. "I'm gonna be fucking rich! I'm gonna be fucking rich!" I yelled with excitement. I knew it was wrong to take something I'd found in a grave, but hell, who was gonna find out? I was in some backwoods land on a burial ground nobody had told me about. I needed this. I wanted this. I just got divorced, was up in bumblefuck nowhere digging a grave. I wasn't gonna let anyone tell me I couldn't take it. This could be my chance to finally live a comfortable life, be done with all this grave digging shit, get on track, and move on from my past marriage. This was my ticket out. I pocketed the coins and got all my shit out of there. I called up John on the ride back and told him the situation. I let him know that I had found a few skulls there and how it had been enough for me to nope the fuck out. He agreed and told me to just head home and relax. When I got back home, I took out the coins, cleaned them all off one by one, and danced like a little kid. I had finally struck gold, literally. The coins were 1933 Indian head gold eagles, each worth between 50 to 70,000 apiece. I'm fucking rich. You finally did it, Sean. You're fucking rich. But before I could celebrate anymore, the lights went out in my apartment. The air became still, and the temperature of the room dropped all around me. I could feel a heaviness in my chest that hadn't been there before, a feeling I could only describe as true fear. I knew something was very wrong, but I wasn't sure what yet. As I stayed frozen in one spot, I saw a shadow move across my wall, walking as if it was human, going straight towards my bedroom door. I could hear footsteps on the other side of my wall, growing with each step the shadow took. It slowly made its way towards the door, and when it reached it, it had disappeared. My bedroom door slowly began opening in the darkness of my cold room. What I saw in the entryway made me question ever taking those damned coins. The entity spoke a language I couldn't understand, but it was almost translated into my brain. I don't know how, but it was.
So, you enjoy stealing? You know you're not the first white man to take from us. You know what happens to people who take from the Ute tribe, right?
Frozen in my spot, I trembled in fear, not knowing what to do. So I responded to it. What? At that very moment, I heard a second entity shuffle up from behind the dark corner of my room. I felt a cold hand grab my shoulder, followed by a deep voice that whispered in a native tone. I nearly died from fear right then and there. All that went through my brain when it spoke were 3 little words.
We kill them.